We are now in the last 2 weeks of February as we get closer to the very end of filming for Star Wars Episode 9 by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, one thing that a lot of people, including myself, am really looking forward to seeing in this film is exactly how J.J. Abrams is going to utilize all the different pieces of nostalgia and fan service that will be inserted into this movie that will truly resonate with fans. Now, of course, in order for it to really resonate with people around the world, it all has to do with how it's executed on the big screen, right? How it's all going to be presented to the fans. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film when it comes to some of the set leaks, the set designs, the concept art, and storyboard descriptions, etc. Now, one of which has all to do with a moment between both Luke Skywalker and Han Solo. Specifically, a description of both Luke and Han standing in front of each other. The next goes over both Luke and Han hugging, giving a nod to the moment at the end of A New Hope and Return of the Jedi between the two characters. It's described to be a moment in which Luke has not seen Han Solo in a very long time. It's described that Hamill shot a sequence with an actor that was dressed in Han Solo's uniform, where some of the old footage from The Force Awakens will be meshed onto the actor's body. It's described that this is how the hug sequence was made possible, and that now the next obstacle is to get through the visuals and to get that right. It's described that Luke and Han exchange dialogue about a troubled Ben Solo. It's described as a scene that starts out happy, that eventually downgrades to a moment in which terrible news is delivered by Solo. It's described that in the background, Chewbacca is sitting next to a young Ben, in the distance on a stone bench. So I really want to go over a couple of parts about this and why I am so intrigued about this. Now, will this actually fix the sequel trilogy? That's a huge question for sure, right? I think that one of the big complaints, and I think it's very safe to say this, one of the big complaints in the sequels is that we never got to see either Luke and Han together on the same exact, on the same exact screen per se, in a single sequence, or, having all three characters such as Luke, Han, and Leia reuniting in this movie, which we do know that Disney, Lucasfilm, JJ, and crew are trying their very best in order to make this work through the visual effects. But with this scenario, this is a moment between both Luke and Han only, where the other characters are residing in the background, with Chewbacca and Ben Solo sitting on a stone bench in front of Luke's new generation of Jedi and the Temple, with the Millennium Falcon inserted in the background as well. Now, this hugging sequence, this sounds like it's going to really hit fans' hearts, especially for me, I believe, because whenever I think of A New Hope or Return of the Jedi, I think back at the celebration moments, right? Once the Death Star is pretty much destroyed and gone, they head back to Yavin, and we have Luke, Han, and Leia hugging it out. We also have Luke and Han hugging on, of course, Endor, during the Endor celebration. So you can really see how JJ is really trying to bring in callbacks to the originals, and also trying to bring things down to a very emotional scale for Episode 9 in order for it to really make, a lot of fans kind of just have that feeling once again. How fans felt when they went to go ahead and see these movies either in theaters or if you had them on VHS or DVD, whatever have you, for the original trilogy. So with that being said, they used another actor in order to dress up as Han Solo, where some of the older footage from The Force Awakens, they will be using actual, like Harrison Ford's face, profile shots of his face, in order to insert that on top of the actor's body. Now, this is nothing new. This is technology that we have seen for a very long time. We've seen this done in, of course, Return of the Jedi, in which they put Hayden Christensen's head on Sebastian's body as Anakin Skywalker in the form of a Force ghost. So, they've done this before, it's nothing new. However, the thing that makes it a bit harder is that there's not a lot of stationary shots of Han Solo in The Force Awakens as far as we know when it comes to profile shots, side shots of the character. Now, they will be using unused footage of The Force Awakens, so like I say, for all we know, they could have these still shots where Han is just standing there for a good 5 minutes, give or take, and they could always add in visual effects in order to make Han Solo talk and the lips move and whatnot. Honestly, guys, I think it would be a whole lot more easier if they just got Harrison Ford on board for this movie. Like I say, to this very day, we haven't heard a thing about Harrison Ford actually stepping foot on set. So it leads me to wonder that Harrison Ford wants nothing to do with this Star Wars movie or nothing to do with Episode 9. We do know that he wanted to actually have his character killed off, I believe it was in Return of the Jedi. So it was basically, you know, a big wish that he had for the longest time for his character to be killed off, and he got what he wanted in The Force Awakens, and that's exactly why I believe we got that death scene in the movie. Now, looking past all of this, you know, we do know that in Episode 9, they are trying their very best to create these emotional moments between both Luke and Han. This is obviously going to be the younger version of Luke without the beard. We do know that Mark Hamill shaved his face for a couple of weeks of filming for this movie for a very special sequence, and I think it most definitely does tie directly into this. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon, we hear them moans again.